This is the Retro Review Show, Countdown to The Force Awakens.
Told you Han shot first.
Welcome, I'm Wayne Baxter.
And I'm Paul Bill.
And this is the Retro Review Show, Countdown to The Force Awakens special. And tonight we are going to be reviewing the classic, the one that started all, the 1977 Star Wars film, also dubbed Episode 4 A New Hope. Alright, well let's get to it and everything. We're going to talk about Star Wars, Episode 4 A New Hope. It was released in May 1977 with really no world premiere or anything like that. It debuted at Manning's Chinese Theater in California.
Yeah.
And this movie just came out of nowhere. Everybody expected doom, especially 20th Century Fox and everything. You know, some of the people at 20th Century Fox. The only person that really believed in not just the project, but believed in George Lucas was a gentleman named Alan Ladd, who, because of George Lucas's work on American Graffiti, which was George Lucas's first big hit. It was his second movie. His first movie was THX 1138, which I highly recommend to see that movie, and American Graffiti, which is a great all-time classic film. But again, it just came out of nowhere, this massive hit, as it had become and everything. But previous, before that was 1975's Jaws.
Yeah.
Was dubbed the first blockbuster, and then all of a sudden, that was done by Steven Spielberg, and then George Lucas, with his second hit and his third film, made a cultural phenomenon with this film, and it is the seed to everything that is George Lucas's world, Lucasfilm. If it wasn't for Star Wars, it would have been no Indiana Jones. It would have been.
It's the foundation on which an empire was built.
Exactly.
I mean, it really just, it was a media miracle, is what it was. Just an amazing film.
And it changed the way movies were made.
It changed everything. I mean, you had people going in expecting the regular 70s, sci-fi gimmick kind of deal.
Very deep. And there's a lot of anti-heroes too.
And I mean, they walked out with a completely different mindset. Everybody was blown away by the special effects. I mean, it was just an amazing film. I mean,
and the type of special effects was that, models, what they did is that back then were kind of using computers.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them were motion sensor cameras and everything that, were basically remembering how these images were moving and everything, and they would, of course, put in the back screens and everything. Everything it was about this movie was revolutionary.
Oh yeah.
George Lucas's team over at ILM, which was a company he founded, because back then most of the studios had dissolved a lot of their special effects departments and everything. There was really, honestly, I don't think there was really much of a special effects company as, I think Lucasfilm's Industrial Light and Magic was one of the first ones. And it was headed by Don Dystra, who ended up winning an Oscar for this movie. Star Wars, I believe, won about 6 or 8 Oscars that following year. And the merchandising.
Oh yeah.
Just get over. I mean, this is pale to the comparison of what the merchandising was when it came to the original Star Wars. I wish I remember to bring them, but I got 3 original Star Wars figures: a C-3PO, an R2-D2, and an R5-D4. And also, my kids had this droid Built-A-Set that came out that following year. I mean, when Star Wars came out, nobody knew anything. The toy manufacturer named Mego Corporation that was real popular about making the cloth figures. They passed on George Lucas and Star Wars because they didn't think it was going to be a big hit. And they already had their own little science fiction stuff with Star Trek when it came to the Mego figures.
Yeah.
Now imagine if Mego had said yes, the world would have been a different place. I don't think it would have been a Kenner or a Hasbro. Well, probably would have been Hasbro, because Hasbro eventually bought Kenner. But I don't think, Mego would probably still be around. But it was just, the figures, the company Kenner they weren't expecting much. They were just interested in making science fiction based toys. And they were so caught off guard and everything. They had to do an early box campaign where, you got this empty package, you wrote your name, your address, and you send it in the mail and everything with some proof of purchases and shipping, handling, whatever. And they would mail you the the first four figures, which was Luke, Leia, Chewie, and R2-D2.
Yeah.
And they were so caught off guard and everything, and it just, after that, you know, just the media blitz of merchandising alone and everything. I mean, I just up to a couple of years ago, I had the original Star Wars glasses from Burger King.
Jeez.
And it was just, I mean, and I was just a big Star Wars collecting fan myself. I mean, most of the stuff came from my 95 collection. I collected from 95 to 99. And it's just absolutely just mind-blowing how back then, you know, it was unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays, it's a common thread. You have franchise toys, books, folders, papers, sleeping bags.
It's become a media gimmick now, in order to get publicity, but back then it was just, you know, products that were made just for the enjoyment of others. It wasn't trying to draw them to a movie. Star Wars is that movie, it wrote its own ticket. It was the underdog that came out of nowhere, and from there just became an icon.
Yeah, and I mean, and of course it made, and the smartest thing was that George Lucas ever did was that if you look at some of the merchandising on the old Star Wars merchandising, you'll say copyright 20th Century Fox. But Lucas was able to say, I'll take the merchandising rights and stuff like that, and the sequel rights. And 20th Century Fox, Alan Ladd just basically said, yeah, sure, okay. Little did the people above Alan Ladd would know, because they didn't care either way either, about the licensing rights. That's how George Lucas built his empire. It wasn't on just Star Wars, the movie itself. It was on the merchandising. It wasn't for the merchandising. Empire Strikes Back would never happen. But let's go ahead and let's get into the first film. The opening scroll and everything, you know, that was all different. It was one Star Wars, the other landmark things in Star Wars. It was one of the first movies, if not the first movie, to open with no credits except the logo. It says Star Wars and had the opening crawl.
Yeah.
All the credits were saved at the end of the movie. It was the opening with the ship being chased by the Star Destroyer.
That was
Star Destroyer.
The whole opening built.
Yeah.
You know, it built the suspense, built the tension. From Star Wars, you had that loud blast of the brass from the orchestra.
John Williams music.
John Williams music made that crawl, is what it did.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gave you a feel for the words you read in that opening crawl. And then when you finally saw the Star Destroyer just come in,
and it's like endlessly.
The screen. Well, you look at that and you're in the 70s, I'm sure they were probably expecting some sort of wires, something.
Yeah.
And just to see that, just
the detail,
amazing, model just being kind of threaded that way, it was awe-inspiring. I can remember being a kid looking at that and thinking, oh my God, they're in space,
And you still get that feeling whenever you watch that movie. And they ended up making, later on, a Super Star Destroyer in Empire Strikes Back, which was a billion times longer, but still watching that opening scene, it's just, and then, of course, when it comes into the droids and everything, they were the only, for the longest time, for the first, 15, 20 minutes, it's the droids. You get to introduce to Princess Leia, and then Darth Vader, which, when he emerged from that opening from the destroyed door and everything, just him in the song.
The Imperial March.
I mean, it was just, people obviously didn't know what was going on. You had these stormtroopers, these guys in white suits.
It was a chaotic beginning, but it worked towards the whole movie. The lightheartedness of the going back and forth between C-3PO and R2-D2, kind of that panicked chaos, gave you something to pay attention to, while the rest of the scene just seems to be setting up. You get the stormtroopers coming in with the rebels trying to fight them off, and when you finally realize what's going on, you see Darth Vader. Which just...
And everything in there is white.
Yes.
And he stands out. And I'm sure it was purposely done.
It had to be purposely done. Just the fact that you go from, white stormtroopers, you see a whole bunch of them.
And the walls were white.
And then you see Darth Vader, who towers maybe a good 6 inches above these guys. who seems to be just a monolithic character, just clad in black, that armor, you know, and then when you heard him speak, James Earl Jones, powerful voice.
Yeah, and then the breath.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the breath and everything going on at the same time. Yeah. I mean, it was just so menacing and everything. I mean, when you look at this helmet and everything, you look at Darth Vader, you see the menacing.
Yeah.
I mean, people still say that, oh, he got watered down because of the prequels with Anakin. I say no.
No.
I mean, and plus when you're watching the original film, it's just, it's so different from all the rest.
It is. It is.
Even though personally my favorite of the Star Wars movies is Empire Strikes Back, but for some reason you still get that sense of special
Well,
event.
I think it was where it caught Luke, you know, it was kind of a lighthearted innocence, you know? I mean, I think they kind of shot for that in Phantom Menace, but it didn't read as well.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a coming of age tale for Luke Skywalker, the fact that, you know, Darth Vader was just this there early, right in front of you, monolithic, dark character. You just knew he was the bad guy, you know? Just, you walked in like you owned the movie.
Yeah.
He became one of the most iconic villains of all time.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, you know, now that you're following C-3PO and R2-D2 down to the desert and everything, planet of Tatooine, you're like, okay, what's going on here? We're following these droids, and then when they get captured by the Jawas and everything, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And then you find out they're about to be sold to Uncle Owen, and then Luke comes into the picture. You know, the hero of the film comes into the picture a good 15-20 minutes into the film, which is not really heard of and everything, but just the way they introduced him late into the film, I think worked so well, because you were getting invested into these droids and everything, and now you've got this new character that you see is the main character, and when he's stumbled upon Obi-Wan's message, or Princess Leia's message to Obi-Wan and everything, you know, you see that, you know, this young boy is just absolutely, you know, he seems overwhelmed. He's like, oh my God, this is something I've dreamed about, you know, this possible adventure, but yet I'm still afraid to go and everything because I'm afraid to.
Well, I think it spoke to the generation of the time. I mean, the 70s, everybody was looking for that, you know, that something, that big adventure, you know, they were all...
And the Vietnam War was just ending, and everybody was fatigued, you know, the Watergate scandal.
To see this, you know, young kid that's ready to embark on this coming-of-age tale, this great journey, you know, aspiring for something greater, I think it just spoke to the audience, you know, it really helped you invest in that character.
Yeah, and so it's all the mythology's greatest hits, all rolled up into one. You had the wizard, which was Obi-Wan Kenobi. You had, you know, the dark, sinister agent, you know, which is not truly the head bad guy, but he's one of the bad guys and everything, which was Darth Vader. You had the damsel in distress, but powerful woman at the same time, which was Princess Leia. The cow farm boy, you know, the naive cowboy, was in Luke and everything. And then you had the cynical pirate, which was Han Solo, and you had all these droids and all these creatures and everything, you know, R2-D2 and C-3PO was the comic relief. That really should have stayed comic relief if you get down to the episode 1. But everything about this film, it's so special.
Oh yeah.
Because it is, no one, you know, as a child, you don't see Star Wars Episode 5 first. You don't see Return of the Jedi first. Your parents, they introduced you to Star Wars.
Yeah.
And some people still to this day, they don't want to call it Episode 4 New Hope, which that is its official title, and that's the way, you know, I do call it and everything. You know, Star Wars is by far, you know, what's called by the original first generation fans is what I call them. I'd have to say I'm probably second generation fan, because I was only maybe about a year old of that when the first film came out. But you know, and when you met Han Solo, that right there is when the film started picking up. You're like, okay, Obi-Wan just cut a guy's arm off and everything in the cantina, and Luke's being this naive, semi-little whiny kid and everything.
Well, I mean, he goes from being, you know, a naive farm boy, he's thrown into a cantina. I mean, I think we can all remember our first trip to any sort of bar.
Yeah.
You're kind of quiet, you want to be kind of timid, unnoticed, you know? And that's more or less how we try to play.
I mean, by this time, you know, his family, the people he's known as only his family, have been killed by the stormtroopers because they're looking for R2 and C-3PO because R2 has the hidden plans of the Death Star. And, but when you meet Han Solo and everything, you can tell, can this guy really be trusted? Now, you're thinking, this guy's going to turn on him.
You know, scoundrel. That's, I mean, that's the perfect word to explain it, you know, perfect word to describe it. But, you know, I think that's what made him a very approachable and likable character. The fact that he was so laid back, so resolved and aloof, you know, he was just kind of cocky, if you will. You know? Yeah, I got the fastest ship in the galaxy. Yeah, I can get you where you're going.
I hope that one of these days you're going to explain what a parsec is. Or a Kessel Run.
There you go.
But, you know.
Well, I figure the Kessel Run's probably some sort of route, you know. But speculation here or there, you know, just that scene in general was just really great, and especially this part of the scene where Greedo sits, you know, telling Han he's going to take him to Jabba, you know, just, I think that scene is probably one of the most debated scenes in cinema history.
I was just watching something on it on YouTube just last week and everything.
I don't think...
Who shot first?
That is one of those arguments that may have been settled, but is going to be argued till the end of time.
I mean, when George Lucas did his cut, back in 97, when George Lucas did the special edition of Star Wars, he made it where, because, you know, he didn't want... The Han Solo was no longer looked at as you know, a prick. He was, you know...
Humanized.
Yeah, he was humanized and everything. But, you know, what he did was that Greedo, you know, what originally how it was is that Han pulled out his pistol slowly and shot Greedo. What happened was that George Lucas fixed it and everything, where it showed us, you know, he put a special effect in when Greedo tried to shoot first and missed, where Han kind of tilts his head and then shoots Greedo. It doesn't work well for me. I kind of prefer it the other way, but yet again, George Lucas says, if it's that way, that's the way he wants it, then that is the way it is. Han shot second, you know. But as you said, it's going to be debated for the rest.
I think it was one of those thought processes of, you know, Han's supposed to be a good guy. Well, he comes off as a cocky scoundrel. You know, he's a good guy through the entire original series and the original trilogy. And if you just have him just shooting somebody down because they pointed a gun at him, does that really work as a good guy? You know, so I mean, it makes sense, but it's definitely going to be one of those debates for all time.
You can always use the term anti-hero.
There you go.
That's that's how you make it easy to make Deadpool accessible. So, but
there's moral gray areas.
But of course, you know, when you get down to it, when they're off, you know, when the Millennium Falcon's going off, you know, hearing that roar that the Millennium Falcon has and everything, that is which become an icon of the sound itself and everything. And just the way the ship looks, I mean, if you look at this ship, this is a badass looking ship.
It is.
There's only two ships you can say that look cool on movies, you know, the Enterprise and the Millennium Falcon. And it's...
You're going to have some Firefly fans that are going to be very mad at you. Just putting that out.
There was what, maybe 5 people that watched the show that in the day?
I don't know. I was busy having sex with women. But, you know, it is an iconic ship, you know, it's one of those things you say, Millennium Falcon, and people know what you're talking about. You know,
and you bite into a hamburger, you know, which was supposed to be the original, you know, inspiration for the Millennium Falcon, but when you still bite into a hamburger, you know, even if you didn't know that, you're going to look at it and go, that's the Millennium Falcon. You know, but as I said, you know, everything about this movie was so iconic. There were so many iconic images and everything. You know.
It has got to be probably one of the most quoted movies, one of the most easily identifiable movies.
Spoofed.
It's
I mean, Hardware Wars, I mean, Family Guy, Robot Chicken. I mean,
how many people have gone their entire lives and never used the phrase, these are not the droids you're looking for?
Exactly.
I don't know a single person that's gone their entire life without saying it.
Or, you know, I have a bad feeling about this. Which is used throughout every single one of the Star Wars films at all. But, out of the Death Star trying to save the princess and everything, and then the princess suddenly, when she's out and everything, then she starts taking charge.
Yeah.
Once you get the cat out of the bag, and all nails come out and everything, and she's ready to fight. And you were ready for that. You're thinking, she's gonna follow these guys to safety. She takes charge like, well, you guys got a plan? Oh, forget this. She, boom, shoots a hole into the wall and everything, and jumps into the garbage chute and everything, like no problem. Which again, back then, Lucas knew that females can be a strong presence in these movies. Not just a damsel in distress and everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that I'm sure it didn't help much when you saw Leia in Jedi, which we'll get into that.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
But early on my screen, sorry.
Sorry, I was catching up with the image.
Yeah.
I'm on a 5-second delay.
But again, just the whole chase around in the escape from the Death Star and everything. You're wondering, you got people, you got Han and Chewie running from the stormtroopers, you got Luke and Leia running, or they got the droids standing guard and everything, ready to wait for a command, and then all of a sudden you have one of the most, it may be static, and it wasn't the most elaborate lightsaber duels, but it is the most memorable lightsaber duels out of the entire Star Wars saga, and that is the elderly Obi-Wan, the old Jedi, one of the last surviving Jedis and everything, against his Padawan, his former apprentice and everything, who is the shell of a man he used to be and everything. And they finally, after 20 some odd years, if not 20 years and everything, finally face off one last time and everything. And, for that era, back in the 70s and everything, lightsaber duels, light swords.
Yeah. I mean, come on, still to this day, hell, I cannot tell you, I don't know a grown person that don't look at times, do you think there's going to be a real lightsaber soon, I'm not talking about that fake crap, that whole, no, I want to be able to cut through my door, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't think I know a single person that isn't intrigued by the thought of a lightsaber, not just as a movie prop, but just as a practical weapon, something to work towards. I mean,
imagine if these things work. Imagine if these things were for real, it would probably cut off,
Permits for that would be tighter than gun control.
Oh yeah. It'd make a slaughterhouse a lot more accessible, and less messy. But I was just so, the lightsaber, as I said, it wasn't elaborate like all the other ones we're used to seeing and everything, but it worked and everything, And then, when the time that Luke and Leia and Han, droids, all start getting to the ship and everything, Obi-Wan looks over at Luke, and then he looks back over at Vader, and now that you know what the truth is and everything, it's like, okay, it's time, and this is what I've been waiting for 20 years, and he puts the Jedi, his lightsaber up to him, as if he was ready to pray. And Obi-Wan, Vader makes his final strike, and then Obi-Wan disappears.
Yeah.
It's not like he cut in half; he just disappears and everything. He becomes one of the Force. And then, just when they get to skip into the X-Wing battle and everything, Luke is ready to get up under the lightsabers. Han has already left and everything. He's kind of showing you'd think you're showing his true colors and everything. It's like, hey, I got my money, I'm leaving. I did all I can bargain for. But, Luke's starting hearing Obi-Wan's voice, which means, Obi-Wan's crossed over to the dark, not dark side, but to...
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, but he has become part of the Force. And just all the flying, and the X-Wing battles.
Yeah.
Regardless if it's the special edition version, if not, or the original and everything, it's just breathtaking. It's just like old World War II dogfights.
I honestly don't think there's a scene in this movie that isn't, just an amazing scene. It captivates the mind and the imagination. You watch this movie and you're entranced by it.
Yeah.
You're enthralled with it from start to finish. There's a reason why it's one of the most, quoted, spoofed, just an iconic piece of American cinema. That's become an international, worldwide recognized hit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't break this movie down into individual parts because just the whole of it is just so great and just such a good movie that it's impossible to pick a best part of it.
Oh yeah. I mean, and then Peter Cushing as Grand Moff Tarkin and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we have talked about Christopher Lee as Count Dooku in the last.
Yeah, we did.
But him and Peter Cushing and everything, they were in movies together themselves and everything. The Dracula and Van Helsing movies and everything from the late '60s. But Peter Cushing just he gave this really cold performance as Tarkin and everything, completely opposite of Alec Guinness, who himself was an Oscar-winning actor from the Bridge on River Kwai and everything. Alec Guinness is Sir Alec Guinness and everything, very proper gentleman Englishman, and both of them very good trained actors and everything, and their roles and everything were so opposite and everything, and it just they never shared screen time, but they play it just works so well because these two established stars up against with these young new fresh faces and everything, and Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill and everything. It just worked so well. It gave them credibility. It gave them, something to work with. You're working with the two fighting actors and everything. It's going to make you feel better, make you be confident in your acting. But back to the Death Star battle scene, though. Just flying around into the crevices and everything, into the ditch and everything, and just all this explosions and stuff, which it was just, I said again, more breathtaking special effects and everything by LOM.
Yeah.
And then you're watching Luke ready to try to get his target. He's the last fighter there. Everybody's either had to flee or they've all been killed and everything.
Yeah, Vader's been chasing them through the
and Vader's in his TIE fighter and everything, and he's really close up. He's already took R2-D2 out of the picture and everything. And then all of a sudden, he's like, ready to, he's almost got his target, and then Vader's like, I have you now. And Vader himself, though, he mentioned how the Force is strong with this one.
Yeah.
He senses that whoever's in this X-Wing is Force sensitive. But he's about ready to shoot at Luke and everything, and all of a sudden this laser shoots at this one ship, and then he's like, he goes, what? And then Han Solo comes flying in, completely off character and everything. Han has realized, he's like, this kid is special, and he's becoming my friend and everything, and I actually care for these people, which is probably hard. It's a conflict for him internally, but you start seeing the change in Han Solo's character and everything, from being a scoundrel, pirate, almost a loner, doesn't care for anybody but maybe himself and Chewbacca and everything. But it was just like one of those big moments where everybody was like, cheering up.
It was that moment, it built the tension. You see Luke on his way, see him bringing down the targeting computer. All of a sudden you see Vader lock onto him.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody was holding their breaths, just waiting to see if, Luke was shot out. And then all of a sudden Han Solo out of nowhere. I think it was just that great relief of tension. That I knew he was a good guy, everybody just felt assured.
Yeah.
Comfortable in the movie. The fact that he was able to get Vader off Luke's tail, scoundrel luck, you could say.
And one of the other TIE fighters pop him up and starts spinning her out of control in space. But then, Luke gets his target, shoots, gets the luckiest shot.
Yeah.
And then they all fly away, and that explosion, that's again, either if you see the original theatrical version or the special edition one and everything, that explosion and everything, it's just, the way it just comes to pieces of it, starts hitting the camera and everything, and it's just very beautiful explosion. And then, of course, at the end and everything, the medal ceremony. You get that song and everything, Princess Leia's in her gown, you find out R2-D2 has been put back together, and C-3PO is all polished up and everything, Han and Luke is, going to get their medals and everything, Luke Skywalker, the farm boy that, was thrust into this world and everything, has become a hero, to many people. And Han Solo himself, is become this scoundrel pirate, smuggler and everything that does favors for the gangsters. Has been this unexpected hero.
Yeah.
Which he probably still you find out in Empire he's still kind of struggling with, but it was just. I mean, it was such a, what a happy ending.
It was a very feel-good ending. I mean, you just see all of them come together, just seemingly just completely different walks of life. You wouldn't assume that they have a greater connection.
Yeah.
You look at, as you said, Han Solo, the scoundrel, the kind of, off to his own. Luke, the farm boy, you don't really think he's going to be a war hero, and Leia associated with two such people, she's supposed to be like princess, regal-like.
Yeah.
It's that moment that brings it all together, kind of solidifies the bond that they all made with each other.
Yeah.
Just an amazing scene.
And if you read this new comic that's out called Princess Leia and everything, it's in trade paperback now, in collection form. They actually, pick up from that ceremony and everything, and they kind of follow Princess Leia. Into her own little adventures and everything, which is now part of canon. We gotta make it clear that all these new comic books coming out, part of canon. But here's another dispute thing when it comes to that ending. Why didn't Chewbacca get a medal? He was there.
Yeah, he was there, but
he's a dog that drives a car.
I wouldn't call him a dog, as much as we've all seen the Bigfoot commercials. What is that? That beef jerky, yeah. Feed your wild side. There you go. That's Chewbacca right there. I mean, there was the chess scene with R2-D2 and Chewbacca. You let the Wookiee win.
Yeah.
Because a droid won't pull your arms off when they lose. But I like to think that he actually thought about that for a minute. Where's my damn medal?
But he does get the last word.
Arms. Yeah.
But he does get the last word.
That was probably what the shit. That's probably what it was. Just, what the hell? But it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, it is.
It's a sum of all its parts, and all its parts just made it an iconic film. Just something that I don't think ever could be redone.
No. And as I said, if you want to start the whole story, start with episode 1.
Yeah.
But if you really want to start with Star Wars. Start with the first film, the 77 film, episode 4, A New Hope. It's just a wonderful film. Highly recommend this movie.
Oh, yes.
My kids love it. As I said, my kids are big Star Wars fans too. All this is theirs.
Well, it's the hit that started it all. I mean,
it started in the project.
It's franchised from toys to other movies, even to video games. I mean, it has some amazing games out.
Even underwear.
It does have underwear. I don't want to know where they put the lightsaber. We're not going there. But I mean, you can even get a little bit more of a backstory pre-New Hope by playing the video game Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Yeah.
Which is an awesome game. It's got some appearances from some of the characters in New Hope. In fact, the first Star Wars Force Unleashed, you start off as Vader on Kashyyyk, the Wookiee homeworld.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those iconic films that has just reached all forms of media, and I'd highly recommend it.
Well, our next segment, real quick and everything, we're going to go ahead and get into Star Wars memories. We're going to talk to some people and everything outside this room and everything, and ask them about their first Star Wars memories and what's their favorite moment in Star Wars. So go ahead and check this out real quick, and we'll get back to you right after that.
Hi, my favorite Star Wars moment is Episode 1, the Hathian Menace. And my favorite moment was when Jar Jar Binks was attacking the droidicas, and while he's riding on the tank, and he was just destroying it. And his part where he surrenders, but he never really gave up. The first time I ever watched Star Wars was with my father, and it was a long time ago, I guess. And the effects, to me, it was amazing. Like when they use the special effects and the first one when they start actually using animation good comparisons with the other movies, and all the graphics with it under the water, and when it first shown, I was completely blown my mind. And that's for Star Wars.
Well, everybody's got their wonderful memories and their favorite parts of Star Wars and everything. I want to give another quick shout out to Tom from Brooding Tom at YouTube.com, who made this statue head of Darth Maul. We've been showcasing it in all the episodes. Wonderful piece of craftsmanship. He does, I'm sure, as I said, I believe he does have video of him making this. Check it out, Brooding Tom at YouTube.com. Again, Paul, I have to say, there's so much, as you can look, we've got iconic images right here in front of us.
There's never enough you can say about this film.
No.
All you can do is highly recommend it, and just know that if you want to completely round out your Star Wars experience, you have to see it.
Oh yeah.
You have to see it. In fact, I'd say it's one of those movies that everybody should see.
Oh yeah.
At least in your lifetime, sit down, watch it. You won't be disappointed.
Exactly. Well, that's all the time we've got for right now and everything. Again, please share this video. That really helps us, and liking our video and everything, that also helps us a lot. Before I get into any further and everything, before this, about a week ago and everything, before this, we filmed this and everything. This will probably be filmed a week out. Be out a week after we've filmed this episode. But we reached over 1,000 views.
Nice.
We reached over our channel, a total 1,000 views and everything. That may not be a lot to some people out there, but to me, I didn't think one person, the only person I probably think would be watching this channel would have been this man sitting next to me. And
that would have probably just been to mess with him later.
Yeah. But I got more partially to you thank for that.
Not a
A
problem.
lot and everything. So thank you all for watching. and
Thank you,
everything.
thank you.
Thank you. So click the subscribe button, click the like button, share this video, like this video, do whatever you have to do, keep us going and everything. Again, I'm William Baxter.
And I'm Paul Bell.
And always remember, the Force will be with you, always.